Forget everything you think you know about speakers. This is MBA Michael Barr Audio, and you guys are amongst the first anywhere in the world outside of this room to experience this technology. This is First Take, where we roll back the curtains on technology so exclusive that usually it would be locked behind a very serious client NDA. These artisanal speakers are built to such a high standard that most other manufacturers can only dream of. Every driver, every cabinet, every material, even the nuts and bolts that are chosen to make these have a specific purpose. They are designed to be bespoke to a particular room, to a particular client, and most importantly, to a particular standard of truth. Michael, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having us.
The kind of materials you use typically are associated more with architecture than audio. What came about you wanting to use those exotic materials in your designs?
Well, when we originally started back in the early 90s, enclosures and materials were a very, very important part for us. And so developing something that was very inert and created very strong enclosures is an incredibly important part. In fact, from our perspective, a more important part of acoustic design than the electronics itself is the structures, the materials, the drivers, the materials that make those things in order to cut down on the distortion, the intermodular distortion, and all those things.
When somebody has to experience these speakers or any kind of MBA technology speakers or systems for the first time, what should they expect different as opposed to what they have been listening to in the past with other brands?
One of the things that's very specific for us is that we don't just consider ourselves a two-channel hi-fi company, because a lot of those, they don't have a lot of dynamic range. They can't be, handle high SPL. We build systems that are capable of doing both of those things. So as you've experienced today, we have speakers like two-channel ones here that are in the top in world class for what they do, but also capable of incredibly high output levels, DJ level, PA level output levels that most of anybody else in that industry is not capable of doing those things. So if we need to build something and it's going to take more power to drive it, we say buy a bigger amplifier, and we'll make that. We have 100% control of 100% of our supply chain. So we make everything from our own drivers, our own enclosures, our own materials, all the way down. I was making the joke to you, all the way down to our bolts.
You had completely a free hand and free will to design a room from scratch. What would your dream room look like?
We're actually sitting here today in an architect's home. So this is, I don't know if I'm allowed to say his name, but it's a very famous Indian architect, as I understand. One of the things that also differentiates us, because we take an engineering perspective to everything. I don't believe in a no answer for a client. We work in the super yacht industry, we work on airplanes, we work on homes, outdoor systems, whatever. And our answer is, we will work with our client to make bespoke solutions that will give the best performance that they can possibly get from the space that they want. We put high-end audio in places it doesn't belong.
Michael Barr Audio is not your typical average home theater system or an audio system, but it does rearrange your expectations and your reference point. So look out for Michael Barr Audio, very select places, but if you really do appreciate music the way it's supposed to be heard, you got to listen to this brand. So that's MBA. Not just louder, not just cleaner, but truer. A new reference point, if you will. And you heard it first right here on First Take.